Have you ever wondered why some meals leave you feeling great, while others seem to weigh you down or even cause discomfort? If you've ever felt frustrated after eating something that didn't agree with you, you're not alone. Many seniors experience this, but here's the good news. Often, the solution is simpler than you think. Today, we're going to talk about something most people don't realize: how combining certain foods can actually be harmful to your health. Specifically, we'll dive into why eating fish with certain other foods might not be as healthy as you'd expect. Now, I know what you're thinking. Fish is supposed to be good for me, right? And you're absolutely correct. Fish is packed with omega-3 fatty acids, protein, and essential nutrients that support heart health, brain function, and overall vitality. But here's the catch. Pairing it with the wrong foods can sometimes reduce its benefits or even create unintended side effects. Before we begin, let me share some fascinating science with you. Researchers have found that food combinations play a crucial role in how our bodies digest and absorb nutrients. For example, certain pairings can interfere with nutrient absorption or lead to digestive discomfort. This is especially important for seniors because, as we age, our digestive systems become less efficient at breaking down food and absorbing key vitamins and minerals. Understanding which combinations to avoid can help you get the most out of your meals and keep your body running smoothly. In today's video, we're going to uncover 3 specific foods you should avoid eating with fish. And trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end because the last tip might surprise you and could make all the difference in how you feel after your next meal. Before we dive in, I want to make one thing clear. This video is for informational purposes only and is based on publicly available research. Everyone's health is different, so always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your lifestyle, diet, or exercise routine. Scientific knowledge is always evolving, and what works for one person may not work for another. Let's start with the first combination you'll want to rethink: fish and high-tannin foods like tea or red wine. Now, you might be thinking, I enjoy a cup of tea with my salmon. It's part of my evening routine. And while it sounds cozy, there's a reason why this pairing isn't ideal. Tannins, which are compounds found in tea, coffee, and red wine, can bind to the iron in fish, particularly non-heme iron. This makes it harder for your body to absorb this essential mineral, which is already a concern for many seniors who may struggle with maintaining healthy iron levels. Here's where it gets interesting. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition highlighted how tannins can inhibit iron absorption by up to 50%. That's significant, especially when you consider that iron plays a vital role in energy production and oxygen transport throughout the body. Over time, consistently pairing fish with high-tannin foods could contribute to feelings of fatigue or sluggishness, something no one wants to deal with as they age. So what's the solution? It's simple. Try spacing out your intake of tannin-rich foods and fish. For example, if you love having tea with your meals, consider drinking it an hour before or after eating fish instead of during the meal. Or switch to herbal teas, which typically contain fewer tannins. Small adjustments like these can make a big difference in how well your body absorbs nutrients. I'll share a quick story with you. A woman named Margaret once told me she started noticing her energy levels dropping despite eating what she thought was a balanced diet. After consulting with a nutritionist, she realized she was drinking several cups of black tea daily, often alongside her fish-based lunches. Once she adjusted her routine and separated the two, she noticed a significant improvement. Not only did she feel more energized, but she also slept better at night. Sometimes it's the little things that make the biggest difference. Now let's talk about why this matters specifically for seniors. As we age, our bodies naturally produce less stomach acid, which can already make it harder to break down proteins and absorb nutrients like iron, zinc, and vitamin B12. Pairing fish with foods that further inhibit nutrient absorption, like tannins, can compound these challenges. By being mindful of these combinations, you're giving your body the best chance to thrive. You might be wondering, what if I already eat fish with tea or wine occasionally? Is it really that bad? The truth is, moderation is key. Occasional indulgence won't hurt, but if this is a regular habit, it's worth considering small tweaks to protect your long-term health. Now that we've covered the first combination to avoid, let's move on to another pairing that could be impacting your digestion and overall well-being. Let's talk about fish and dairy products. Now that we've covered the first combination to avoid, fish and high-tannin foods like tea or red wine, let's move on to another pairing that could be impacting your digestion and overall well-being. Let's talk about fish and dairy products. At first glance, this might sound harmless. After all, many traditional meals combine these two ingredients, like creamy seafood chowders or baked fish topped with buttery sauces. But here's why you might want to rethink this combination, especially as you age. When you eat fish alongside dairy such as cheese, cream, or even yogurt-based sauces, it can sometimes lead to digestive discomfort. This is because both fish and dairy are rich in protein, and when consumed together in large amounts, they can overwhelm your digestive system. As we get older, our bodies produce less of the enzymes needed to break down proteins efficiently. Overloading your system with too much protein at once can result in bloating, gas, or even indigestion. Here's where science comes in. A study published in Clinical Gastroenterology and Hepatology found that combining high-protein foods, particularly those from animal sources, can slow down digestion and increase the risk of gastrointestinal issues. For seniors whose digestive systems are already working harder than they used to, this can make mealtime less enjoyable and leave you feeling sluggish instead of satisfied. Let me share a story with you. A man named Robert once told me he loved indulging in rich dishes like salmon Alfredo or clam chowder. But over time, he noticed he often felt uncomfortably full and bloated afterward. Once he learned about how combining fish and dairy could strain his digestion, he decided to scale back. Instead of heavy cream sauces, he started using lighter alternatives like lemon juice, herbs, or olive oil to flavor his fish. The result? He felt lighter, more comfortable, and still enjoyed his meals just as much. It was such a small change, but it made a world of difference in how he felt throughout the day. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I love my creamy seafood dishes. Does this mean I have to give them up completely? Not at all. Moderation and balance are key. If you enjoy these types of meals occasionally, there's no need to eliminate them entirely. However, if you notice recurring digestive issues, it might be worth experimenting with lighter preparations or spacing out your intake of fish and dairy. For example, instead of having a cheesy seafood pasta for dinner, you could enjoy plain grilled fish with steamed vegetables and add a small side of yogurt or cheese later in the day. Speaking of balance, let's talk about why this matters specifically for seniors. Digestive health plays a crucial role in overall well-being, yet many older adults struggle with conditions like acid reflux, irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, or lactose intolerance. Pairing fish with dairy can exacerbate these issues, making it even more important to pay attention to how your body responds. By being mindful of food combinations, you're not only supporting your digestion, but also ensuring you absorb the nutrients your body needs to stay strong and healthy. Now let's shift gears slightly and address another common mistake people make when eating fish, one that could actually interfere with its health benefits. Have you ever paired fish with starchy, carb-heavy sides like white rice, bread, or potatoes? While this might seem comforting, it's not always the best choice for maximizing the nutritional value of your meal. Fish is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are known for their anti-inflammatory properties and heart health benefits. However, when you pair fish with refined carbohydrates, like white rice or sugary sauces, you may unintentionally counteract some of those benefits. Refined carbs cause a rapid spike in blood sugar levels, which can trigger inflammation in the body. This inflammatory response works against the protective effects of omega-3s, potentially negating some of the reasons you're eating fish in the first place. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition highlighted how diets high in refined carbohydrates were associated with increased markers of inflammation, even when participants consumed adequate amounts of omega-3s. For seniors who are already at higher risk for chronic inflammatory conditions like arthritis or cardiovascular disease, this is something worth paying attention to. So what's the alternative? Instead of pairing fish with refined carbs, opt for complex carbohydrates and fiber-rich foods that support stable blood sugar levels. For example, try serving your fish with quinoa, sweet potatoes, or a hearty side of roasted vegetables. These options not only complement the flavors of fish, but also enhance its nutritional benefits by providing steady energy and additional vitamins and minerals. I'll share another quick example. A woman named Linda once told me she used to serve her baked cod with mashed potatoes and white bread rolls, a classic comfort meal. But after learning about the impact of refined carbs on inflammation, she swapped the potatoes for roasted Brussels sprouts and added a side salad. She said the new dish tasted delicious, left her feeling energized instead of sluggish, and became a family favorite. Small swaps like these can transform your meals without sacrificing taste or satisfaction. Before we move on, let's recap why avoiding these combinations matters. Fish is an incredible source of nutrients, but pairing it with certain foods like high-tannin beverages, dairy, or refined carbs can reduce its benefits or lead to digestive discomfort. By making mindful adjustments, you're setting yourself up for better digestion, improved nutrient absorption, and long-term health. Now that we've covered these 3 food combinations to avoid, let's dive into some practical strategies for overcoming challenges you might face when trying to make healthier choices. Whether it's dealing with cravings, finding substitutes, or staying motivated, I'll share tips and stories to help you succeed. Let's keep going, because the next steps will empower you to take charge of your diet and your health in a way that feels manageable and rewarding. Now that we've covered the 3 food combinations to avoid when eating fish, pairing it with high-tannin foods, dairy, and refined carbs, let's talk about how you can overcome some of the challenges that might come up as you make these changes. I know that adjusting your diet can sometimes feel overwhelming, especially if you're used to certain habits or comfort foods. But here's the good news. Small, consistent steps can lead to big results over time. Let's start by addressing one of the most common objections I hear from people. I don't have time to prepare healthier meals. Many seniors juggle busy schedules, whether it's caring for grandchildren, volunteering, or managing household responsibilities. It's easy to fall back on quick, familiar meals, even if they're not the best choices for your health. The solution? Plan ahead. Spend a little time once a week preparing ingredients or meals that are both nutritious and easy to reheat. For example, you could bake a batch of salmon fillets seasoned with lemon and herbs, then pair them with pre-cooked quinoa or roasted vegetables throughout the week. This way, you're not starting from scratch every night, and you're still making choices that support your well-being. Here's another challenge: cravings. Let's face it, sometimes nothing sounds better than a creamy seafood pasta or a plate of fish and chips. And that's okay. Depriving yourself of the foods you love isn't sustainable in the long run. Instead, focus on moderation and finding healthier alternatives. For instance, if you crave something creamy, try using Greek yogurt or cashew cream instead of heavy cream. If you love crispy textures, bake your fish with a light coating of whole grain breadcrumbs or almond flour instead of frying it. These swaps allow you to enjoy your favorite flavors without compromising your health. I'll share a story with you. A man named Paul told me he struggled to give up his Friday night fish fry tradition, a meal he'd enjoyed for decades. Instead of cutting it out completely, he decided to experiment with baking his fish instead of frying it, and served it with baked sweet potato fries and a side salad. To his surprise, his family loved the new version, and he felt proud knowing he was making a healthier choice without sacrificing tradition. It's proof that small tweaks can make a big difference. Now let's talk about motivation. Making dietary changes can sometimes feel like an uphill battle, especially if you're dealing with fatigue, pain, or other age-related challenges. But here's the thing. Research shows that even small improvements in your diet can have a significant impact on your health. A study from Johns Hopkins University found that adding just 1 serving of omega-3 rich fish per week could reduce the risk of heart disease by up to 15%. That's huge. Imagine what a few thoughtful adjustments to your meals could do for your energy levels, digestion, and overall quality of life. Another powerful motivator is mindset. Many people assume aging means slowing down, but science tells us otherwise. Staying socially engaged and connected to others can have a major impact on mental health and longevity. So, why not involve your loved ones in your journey toward healthier eating? Invite them over for a cooking session, share your new recipes, or ask for their input on how to make your meals more exciting. Not only will this strengthen your relationships, but it will also keep you accountable and inspired. Let me share an inspiring example. A woman named Evelyn didn't start paying attention to her diet until she turned 70. At first, she felt overwhelmed by all the advice out there, but she decided to take it one step at a time. She began by swapping out one unhealthy habit each month, like replacing sugary sauces with fresh herbs or cutting back on processed snacks. Within a year, she noticed she had more energy, fewer aches, and even lost a few pounds. She told me, "It wasn't about being perfect, it was about progress. Every little change added up, and now I feel like I'm taking control of my health again." Now let's shift our focus to emotional well-being. Food isn't just fuel, it's also tied to memories, traditions, and emotions. Changing the way you eat doesn't mean giving up those connections. It's about finding new ways to honor them. For example, if you love sharing meals with family, introduce them to healthier versions of your favorite dishes. Or, if you enjoy cooking, explore new recipes that incorporate nutrient-dense ingredients. By reframing healthy eating as an opportunity to learn and grow, you'll find it becomes less of a chore and more of a joyful part of your life. Finally, let's talk about one last tool you can use to stay motivated: gratitude. Taking a moment to appreciate the food on your plate and the positive impact it has on your body can transform the way you approach meals. Instead of focusing on what you're giving up, celebrate what you're gaining: more energy, better digestion, and a stronger foundation for healthy aging. Now that you have all these tools, practical tips, motivational stories, and strategies for overcoming challenges, let's wrap things up with some final words of encouragement and a simple challenge you can start today. Because at the end of the day, aging doesn't mean losing control of your health. It means taking charge of it in smarter, more intentional ways. Now that we've explored the 3 food combinations to avoid when eating fish, high-tannin foods, dairy, and refined carbs, and discussed practical strategies for overcoming challenges, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. These small adjustments might seem simple, but they can have a profound impact on your digestion, nutrient absorption, and overall well-being. The key takeaway is this: you don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Instead, focus on making mindful choices that support your health in ways that feel manageable and sustainable. Let's recap why these changes matter so much. Pairing fish with high-tannin foods like tea or red wine can inhibit your body's ability to absorb iron, which is already a concern for many seniors. Combining fish with dairy can overwhelm your digestive system, leading to discomfort or bloating, especially as your body produces fewer enzymes to break down proteins. And pairing fish with refined carbs can spike blood sugar levels and trigger inflammation, counteracting the anti-inflammatory benefits of omega-3 fatty acids. By avoiding these combinations, or at least spacing them out, you're giving your body the best chance to thrive. But here's the thing: knowledge is only powerful when it's put into action. You don't need to be perfect. Progress is what counts. Maybe it's swapping mashed potatoes for roasted vegetables, or drinking your tea an hour before your salmon dinner instead of during the meal. Over time, these small changes add up, creating habits that support your long-term health and happiness. Experts agree that consistency is key when it comes to dietary improvements. Even one healthier choice per day can make a noticeable difference in how you feel. I want to leave you with a story that illustrates just how transformative small habits can be. A woman named Carol once told me she decided to prioritize her diet after years of neglecting it due to busy schedules and convenience foods. She started by focusing on one area at a time, first cutting back on sugary sauces, then experimenting with lighter ways to prepare fish. Within months, she noticed she had more energy, fewer digestive issues, and even improved skin tone. She said to me, "It wasn't about following some strict plan. It was about listening to my body and making choices that felt good." Now, I wake up every morning feeling ready to take on the day. Now, some of you might still be thinking, what if I slip up or fall behind? That's okay. Life happens, and no one expects you to be perfect. The goal isn't perfection, it's improvement. If you miss a day or indulge in a less than ideal meal, simply pick up where you left off the next day. And don't hesitate to enlist the help of loved ones or healthcare professionals if you need support. Remember, you're never alone in this journey. Let's talk about mindset for a moment. As we age, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, "It's too late for me to make a difference." But science shows us that it's never too late to start making healthier choices. A study published in The Lancet found that adopting even one new healthy habit later in life, like improving your diet, can significantly increase lifespan and enhance quality of life. So whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, every positive step you take matters. Another important aspect of aging well is staying socially engaged. Did you know that loneliness can have a profound impact on both mental and physical health? Studies suggest that maintaining strong social ties reduces the risk of depression, anxiety, and even chronic diseases. While we've been talking about nutrition today, don't forget to nourish your relationships too. Share these tips with a friend or family member, or invite someone over for a healthy meal while you practice your new cooking techniques together. These moments of connection are just as vital as the habits themselves. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these tips resonated most with you? Are there any food combinations you're excited to rethink, or healthier swaps you're eager to try? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one, and your thoughts might inspire others who are looking for ideas. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips on healthy aging. Sharing this video with a loved one could also be a wonderful way to spread the message of vitality and self-care. Finally, I want to remind you of something important. Aging doesn't mean losing control of your health. It means taking charge of it in smarter, more intentional ways. Every day is a new opportunity to nourish your body, nurture your mind, and connect with the people and activities that bring you joy. Whether it's through mindful eating, staying active, or simply sharing a meal with someone you love, you have the power to shape your own journey. So here's to living your best life at any age, and to embracing the small, meaningful steps that lead to big results. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and remember, small actions lead to lasting change. Here's to your health.